Hey, what's up, all you do-it-yourselfers? My name's Dylan Taylor, and this is Dylan's DIY Workshop. And today I'm going to be showing you guys how I made this neat little drawer that holds pencils. Basically, the way this works is it's a round piece of wood that has been cut in half and hollowed out, and it's the right length for pencils. And the way you can use this is drill a hole in the front of a desk and have a piece of wood similar to this and similar to this to hold the drawer inside of the desk from flopping, and then when it comes out, those pieces also hold it. This other piece that I had drilled another hole in is redundant now that I figured out that I can use these. So, let's get right into the build. Look at those silly little ear muffs I got on there, hey? So here I'm using that SC3 scroll chuck that Record Power sent me. And this lathe, the little piece that tightens down the quill for the tailstock is broken, so I just use a set of channel locks. So here I am just starting to turn this piece round. Yeah, and so it hit me in the face. I'm still trying to figure out how tight I need to make things with this chuck. It's iffy. If you don't have it cranked down really tight and to the point where it's like chewing up into the wood, it ends up coming loose on you. Did you see that right there? Did you see the lathe stop? Okay, so what's going on here is this lathe chuck. It's just driving me bonkers. So the way this fastens onto the screw on the lathe is it has a, what do you call that? It's got set screw. That's what it is. It's got a set screw. It's right there. So it's bugging me. It's chewing up the screws on the lathe. So it's flattening the thread there, and I got it fixed. So I'm using it again here. But it was just ridiculous what it was doing. So to tighten that set screw down, it just slides across the threads and it just ends up flattening it. I know it came with this little leather piece, but the leather piece just doesn't work at all. Like I used it and it just fell off. So that didn't work. And what should have really came with that chuck, and I don't understand why it didn't, is a thin jam nut. I think that Record Power should, if they ever watch this, take that into consideration, because all this chuck does is slide around on this lathe because it doesn't have its own jam nut. My lathe at home happens to have a jam nut, but I mean, how much would it cost to send one thin nut with that chuck? Because who knows, like I know a lot of lathes don't have the jam nut on them, like especially if you have an older lathe like that. So that was really frustrating, and I ended up just using it and then tightening it and using it, tightening it, using it, tightening it, which is a real pain in the butt. Like, to have to tighten that every 10 seconds, it's ridiculous. So I'm using my bandsaw to lathe jig that I made in a recent video to cut the flat part of this little drawer, and then I'm using the other bandsaw. You can still see the jig set up on the first one. I'm using the other one to cut the rest of that piece off the other way. And there we go. Heading over to the big sander now. Now I need to get myself one of these. I think they're only like $2,500, which is still a lot, but amazing sander. Then we got the old DeWalt router there, and I'm just trying to hog away as much material as I can because we didn't have a huge cove bit. I just used just a straight end cutting end mill. Took a couple passes here. And it wasn't sliding right, and I realized there was some glue on the table, so just taking that off. That's something to keep in mind, that it is actually sliding perfectly flat on whatever surface it is. And now you see me using a Forstner bit to get rid of the spot that I couldn't catch up to with the router because it just kept running into the front of that drawer face. And it does not need to look pretty because I'm about to hog away the rest of the material with another tool. So here we have that, and you can see that I smoothed out the one spot right there already, and I need to do that to the rest. And what I'm going to use for that is this really cool little bit that I have. It's just a rotary rasp, and you can get these, you know, Mastercraft brand from Canadian Tire or wherever you have Harbor Freight. Any store, hardware store, will have these rotary rasps. So go ahead and get yourself one. I've used it in a die grinder, which spins much faster than my drill, but doesn't quite have as much power as the drill. So the drill almost works just as fast as a die grinder if you got the muscle to push it through the wood. So here we go, and just hogging away with that. It took a long time, it did, and basically what I'm doing here is just holding the drill tight to my body and then using my other arm to move the drill back and forth. And you have to be mindful of the way that the rasp is spinning, and you want to pull against the way it's spinning, because if you go with the way it's spinning, it'll end up running away on you. So I'm using my new favorite sealer here, and I'm making a Christmas gift that had to be completely waterproof, and so that's why I got this shellac. And I realized that it's also food safe, which was also something that I needed it to be waterproof, and that was for the same gift there. But I actually really like how easy it is to go on, and usually I've noticed with 2 coats it's gonna be fairly shiny and really smooth as long as you do it right, and that 2 coats can be done within 45 minutes of each other, and then you just leave it for a couple hours, not even a couple hours, just in about an hour. Okay guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you learned something new. Maybe it was something about how this was made, maybe it was the rotary rasp, maybe it's what a jam nut actually is, and I didn't explain that well. It's basically a nut that you turn backwards against another nut so that they stay in one spot on a thread. You can Google it. Wikipedia has a nice little concise article on it if you want to check that out. This is going to show up near future after Christmas because this is kind of important. It's being incorporated in something bigger, and that video will come out after Christmas because it's a Christmas gift for someone important. I'd love to send you guys over to my Etsy page because that is where I'm selling a lot of the things that I've made coming up towards the holiday season. So if you want to get a handmade gift for someone important to you, go check that out. It's all handmade stuff, all wood stuff, and the prices for most of it, I believe, is fairly reasonable. There's like one item on there, and it's that little Zippo box. I don't really want to sell it, but it's on there if somebody wants to buy. I put it on for the price that I... Anyways, Etsy page. So you guys can click on the link in the description for that, or you can click on the mustache peanut as an end card, which will be right here. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you're new, please subscribe. If you're already subscribed, please share this video with a friend. And as always, if you enjoyed the video, give it a big old thumbs up. And don't forget to click on the mustache peanut. Peace out.